Let's go. As sporting in the top right hand corner of Paradox, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Rude War Protoss. Representing Twisted Minds, it is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the StarCraft 2 Protoss player, the Red Protoss. It is ReBellioN from South Korea. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. As we are going to be settling in. And again, welcome one and all to the grand finals of the StarCraft Evolution League. Again, predictions open. Place your bets. Best of luck. And if you want to help support this tournament, before I forget, !Matcherino in the chat as well, where you can help support this tournament via the Matcherino page with coupon codes, with your own donations as well. Get on that Matcherino if you enjoy StarCraft Evolution. If you want to help support these players, that is your avenue of doing so. Meanwhile, we're settling in. And again, ooh, ReBellioN going for a gate expand, and Classic going Nexus first. Now, a couple of things here. You have your own island. You have your very own island here on Paradox. You have 3 bases. 3 bases, 2 high-yield gas geysers as well. 1 regular gas geyser, but 3 bases all to yourself. So it makes sense for Classic to open up Nexus first. I am shocked that ReBellioN did not do the same. So delayed expansion for ReBellioN, going gate, cyber expand instead. My assumption here is that ReBellioN is going to open Stargate. He has the high yield gas geyser. It makes sense to open up Stargate and to open Phoenix or open Oracle. We'll see which one it's going to be. Likewise, you have these islands in the center of the map. You have these 4 bases, 2 on the right, 2 on the left. They are somewhat connected by this landmass in the center of the map as well, where you can get high ground vision. You have like a cliff face that you can work with to get like tanks or lay siege upon the mineral line as well. So you can try to abuse some of these bases through the center. But again, you can be hyper greedy early on, and there it is. There is a Stargate. So this makes the most sense. So it's going to be a Stargate opener out of ReBellioN. Again, I'm feeling like double Stargate Phoenix, but we'll see. From the side of Classic, I'm not too certain how he's going to approach this. Is going to be gateways, delayed Cybercore from Classic, being a little bit more greedy, or being much more greedy. Oh my god, going up to 4 gates. Okay, 4 gate aggression here by Classic. Now this will mean he will have these extra gateways to defend. Now Classic, he has no idea what's going on. There is 0 scouting. ReBellioN can scout with hallucination, so already big advantage for the SC2 Protoss player. As ReBellioN can scout with hallucinations, can get a read on what's going on. It is going to be an Oracle based opener here for ReBellioN. Meanwhile, Classic responds with his own Stargate. And again, as a reminder, Classic is playing blind, and ReBellioN is not, as here comes that hallucination. So kind of, again, because our players have different tools here, I do kind of give the edge to ReBellioN. I feel like he has a little bit more to make use of. He has a little more information at least, as he sees everything. He confirms the gateways. He confirms the Stargate as well. There's a second Stargate for ReBellioN. So again, double Stargate Phoenix. This does make the most sense. And from here, are we going to see like double Stargate Corsair? Question mark? I mean, we're going to have at least Stalkers to support the army on the ground. And it is going to be a... There we go. It is going to be the Corsair. But just the 1 Stargate for now. So we could end up embracing Skytoss versus Skytoss. We could head in that direction. But of course, very different kind of Skytoss is what I should say as well. Bearing in mind that, of course, Classic is initially investing quite heavily into these Dragoons just to support his army. So he does have a lot of Dragoons first. Corsair has arrived. Oracle goes down for 5 probes. That's a lot of probes. 5 workers go down. Corsair is revealed. On top of that, we also have a revelation on the gateway, and we see the lack of production. So only a singular Corsair. And a big reason for this is Classic doesn't know. He doesn't know that his opponent is massing Phoenixes. Classic is still in the dark. The Corsair is just now moving out, and we can see Classic throw down a Fleet Beacon. Interesting. Fleet Beacon's on the way, shuttle as well. This is going to be risky. Getting this shuttle across the map is going to be a difficult endeavor for Classic, considering the mass amount of Phoenixes that ReBellioN has. So I'm gonna be impressed if Classic can get across the map with this. Meanwhile, Phoenixes, they do reveal themselves. Now Classic knows. 3 probe kills so far. Well, we have the 1v1. Let's go Corsair versus Phoenix. The Phoenix will win. Phoenix does shut the Corsair down. The Fleet Beacon was cancelled. No, it did complete. Oh, my apologies right there. Fleet Beacon did complete. But it feels like Classic is still just trying to figure out what he wants. There we go there. The shuttle falls as well. As I mentioned, I feel like Mass Phoenix is the go-to on an island map like this. And I would not be surprised if this is the first time the Classic is playing on this map as well. 100%. Like, you would never play on this map outside of tournament play. So Classic, he was taking in a lot of different directions. He's still trying to figure out what he wants. He's making another shuttle. He's working towards +1 in charge. Interesting. Or Zealot speed, Zealot legs. Templar Archives is on the way for Archon production for Storm. So it looks like Classic is committing to ground toss. So it's going to be commitment into a ground-based army. Curious. Meanwhile, with this map control, ReBellioN, he can start taking bases. He can start taking the map. As ReBellioN is also transitioning out of Mass Phoenix, he did go for initially 5 Phoenixes, only 5, and now he's working towards ground toss as well. I mean, still has the Fleet Beacon, and with that can start like a mothership, for example. Is getting into Blinkstalker Immortal. 4th base now on the way for ReBellioN. Again, he has map control, so we can just take base after base. There's not much to stop him, and he's even double expanding. At least thinking about it. They're throwing down pylons. Never mind. Just spotter pylons here for ReBellioN. You can see Phoenixes are patrolling everywhere. The shuttle does hug the edge of the map. You can see Classic trying to take a ninja base. He's going for his own 4th. Does sneak out. Arbiter is on the way for Classic. That does mean he will have his own recalls. But yeah, the 4th base is scattered, and there's no saving this. Yeah, Classic is contained. It's going to be shut down, it's going to be contained. Cannon's going to finish up. We do have Classic still massing on more Zealots. Again, it does look like he wants to go for a mass recall. That would make the most sense. Likewise, ReBellioN also getting a ground army ready back at home. Hallucination does get eyes on the Arbiter. Does spot it. He's aware. As a reminder, Arbiters, they can recall, they have cloak. I think they have like a passive cloak around them, if I recall correctly. I don't think it's a skill. Yeah. It's just a passive cloak field. And on top of that, they can also stasis. They can stasis units. You know what, Classic? Oh my god, throwing down the wall of cannons! Let's go! The cannons are being placed, and Classic, one way or another, he will expand. Ooh, I say that Immortal's on the high ground. Oh, never mind. I'm forced to cancel. Yeah, I see your cannon rush. I see your cannons, and I raise you with the Immortals instead. The cannons are denied, and Classic does not expand. Classic still contained. Arbiter is spotted. Additional Arbiters on the way. Now, the reason why you would want more than one Arbiter is because the recall range is far smaller than the SE2 Mothership recall range. So you can recall less units at a time. So you need more Arbiters. Meanwhile, we do have the recall into the main. Oh my god. ReBellioN gonna be the first to recall. Does dive in, activates a cloak. No detection for anyone. Oh my god. As we actually recall across the map. My apologies. I wasn't expecting that effect. For a moment, I was like, Vortex? What's happening? I was very confused. But we have the recall versus the recall. Now, ReBellioN can recall back home with of course, his base. ReBellioN does have a defensive recall. Stalkers, they get across the map. Pushing in. Yep, there's a defensive recall. Base did go down, and Classic is going for the production. Depowers the Robo, depowers the Stargate. ReBellioN across the map did kill the third base, though. It's also wreaking havoc. But those Dragoons, they're putting in a lot of work. They do deny charge. They're slow lots. Yeah, slow lots across the map. The main army is about to engage. Cloak is activated. And Classic, he does dive in. Do we have another recall, though? Classic, only one Arbiter. Yeah, it's a one-way trip. There's a slow zone. Mothership goes down. But ReBellioN will clean this up. He cleans up every single Dragoon. And he's still on a two-base economy. GG gets called. Classic has nothing left, and ReBellioN will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Mate, the look of confusion on my face when we saw the vortex effect, I was like, what just happened? I was speechless. I was so confused. But I guess that's the graphical effect of the brutal recall, which is really cool that they're using that effect again, because we haven't seen it in so long, right? Like vortex was stripped away, what, at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, if I recall correctly. It wasn't a part of Heart of the Swarm. It was only in Wings of Liberty, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time. Has been a long time. GG, well played. ReBellioN will take a lead in the series, and now we're jumping into game number 2. I mean, the Arbiter recall was a vortex. True. Not quite the effect I was expecting. And now we're jumping into that second game. We're going to be embracing another more unorthodox map. We're going to be embracing Monty Hall. Yeah, the Archon toilet. The flashbacks were real, Pappy. I was like, oh, not again. Where are the Archons? As here we go. We're getting into game number 2. We're going to be loading into a very unorthodox map, a very unique map, and here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Monty Hall, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the SC2 Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is a classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the other South Korean Protoss player, the Brood War Protoss. It is ReBellioN. Leading the series 1-0, and if you haven't seen this map before, welcome everyone to Monty Hall. And it is not quite an island setup here, but you do have mineral walls just encasing you here on one base. Now, there is a small gap where a worker can fit, but not a unit. So only a worker can fit through these small gaps, and ReBellioN is setting up for a proxy. So he moves out across the map right through the center, setting up a proxy pylon here outside of the main base of Classic. Now, and he's going for an all-in. Yeah, he's going for a proxy 2 gates. And this probe can throw down a gas geyser and can slowly mine gas, then mine minerals, mine gas, mine minerals, delete the resources, and break through this wall. And there it is. There's the gas geyser. Meanwhile, Classic... Oh! He scouts... Oh! He sees! He knows. Big scout here for Classic. He doesn't see the proxy, but he sees the gas geyser. That could be one thing and one thing only. It's a rush. It's an all-in. Classic, he's seen enough. He has seen enough. Second gateway's on the way. Second pylon. This should be leading into a robo, into a mortar production. So a very early scout here by Classic. Meanwhile, it is going to be some gases back at home, but 3 gateways initially. Oh, I love the probe here to try and deny mining. Oh my god. Did attempt to. But there we go. 25 minerals. It's 5 minerals each patrol. But in Classic, he's here to try to force inefficient mining, try and force the probe off the mineral patch. Up! He's the jukes! He gets it. Does get it in the end. The probe micro. Up! Again, you can see Classic is trying to force mining off of that mineral patch. And that will delay. Uh-oh. Does he just... Can he win the game with this? If he just denies that patch, yeah, he can't mine. Oh no! For those that are curious, only one worker can mine through a patch at the same time. Only one at a time, and Classic, he denies the mining. Oh my god. The big brain plays. He denies mining. He's getting on top of the gas guys. So we have a Robo on the way. Dragoons as well. But the wall, it's solid. Very nicely done here by Classic. Again, if you're curious, to reiterate, only one worker can mine a patch at a time. If you have two workers, then they kind of fight over it and they deny mining. So very nicely done. And it looks like the gas geyser is going to go down. Meanwhile, ReBellioN, he does follow up with Dragoons. The Robo is almost complete. This should be for the shuttle, I would imagine, to try to juggle over the wall. Yeah, base on the way. It looks like it's going to be not just a shuttle, but also Reavers. So one base Reaver all in from ReBellioN. Meanwhile, Classic going for the one base, soon to be Immortal Defense. For now, purely vanilla Stalkers. Prism is on the way. So Dragoon versus Stalker, Shuttle versus Prism, Immortal versus Reaver. We're getting there. Meanwhile, Classic, he does mine out through that wall, gaining access to an expansion. Classic can take a natural. Yeah, coming in from behind. Or he could even just go for a counterattack. Remember, Brood War Protoss cannot recall, not without an Arbiter. Yeah, Classic is going for the kill. There's nothing at home. There's nothing at home to defend. There's one cannon on the way. One cannon and probes. Here come those Stalkers. The first Immortal has arrived. And ReBellioN still just cannot get over the wall. It's just not going to happen. And remember, the Warp Prism can reinforce. Warp Gate is done. Stalkers, they bust in. They can deny mining. They can just stay out of range of the cannon. And ReBellioN, this is all he has. It's all or nothing for ReBellioN. Reaver Shot goes off. Not bad. Does get a shut off. One more connection on the Immortal. Ooh, but the shuttle goes down. The Reaver falls. The Immortal survives just barely. And Classic holds. Classic does hold. There's no way in. GG gets called. And Classic ties up the series 1-1. Whew. God, that was crazy. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very nice response out of Classic. Just very quick thinking from him as well to be able to respond against that with his own probe micro. I imagine that Classic has never played on that map before. There's no reason to play on these maps unless you're competing in these tournaments, and even then you typically veto these two maps as well. There's a reason why we're only casting them in the grand finals, because they're being forced for our entertainment. But GG, well played. We're tied up 1-1, and we're now jumping into game number 3. Jumping into the third game on Oceanborn. So we can return to normalcy here. We can calm things down, enter a more standard map, and as a reminder, this time the roles have been reversed, and ReBellioN is playing SC2 Protoss, Classic is playing Brood War. Oh boy. Already, I do appreciate that it is a back and forth, that it is not a one-sided finals, and we'll see how this story continues and how it ends. Oh boy. So we're making our way into that third game. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Brood War Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the other South Korean Protoss player, the SC2 Protoss. It is ReBellioN. Here we go. Oh my god. So again, just a really intense game 1 and game 2, but a lot of that is because of how unorthodox those maps were. Now, we're calming things down, we're loading into Oceanborn, a map that you should be much more familiar with, especially if you're an SC2 viewer and enjoyer. Has been around for quite some time at this point, over a year I feel. And we'll see how things do differ. Oh, hello Classic. Interesting. ReBellioN is setting up back at home as well. Double gas opener. 2 gateways here further back in the main. Trying to force an overreaction. And Classic is going for a gate expand. Ooh, bold move. Bold move here by Classic. A very greedy opener, very economic. ReBellioN does confirm the timing of the Nexus. The fact that there is no cyber core, that there is no second gateway. They are delayed. And ReBellioN can now turn this opener into a 1-base all-in. He sees the greed, and he can respond with a proxy. We'll see if he does. He does deny the second gas. Does go for the gas steal. ReBellioN pulls away. But ReBellioN has not sent out a second worker. It's still just the 1 probe, but it is being left alone. He will confirm the pylon. Dipping up the ramp. Does confirm the second gas. And does ReBellioN throw down a robo and a 3rd gateway? Does he expand? Probe takes a lot of damage. Is being forced out. ReBellioN is building up resources, and it looks like he will expand. Okay, we have confirmation. ReBellioN is going to be going for a later expansion. This does mean that Classic has the economic lead. So Classic, he will have the... Oh, never mind. That's a robo. That is a robo before Nexus. The pylon was thrown down. Checking the vision of Classic, he did not see the pylon. I'm curious if this is a fake out or if it's real. Is ReBellioN actually going to expand? And again, the probe is moving down to low ground, so I'm feeling... Oh, no, 1-base all in. Okay. We have confirmation. It's a fake out. So this is a fake setup. It looks like it is going to be a 1-base all in. We have a robo. We have a 3rd gateway as well. It's going to be all or nothing for ReBellioN. Oh boy. Meanwhile, back at home, Classic, he's still trying to settle in. We do have a Dragoon range on the way, building up Dragoons. Again, Classic did invest quite heavily into this, into the Nexus, into the delayed production, into the delayed tech. So we'll see if Classic can survive. And we'll see if ReBellioN can punish. Ooh. As Classic, did he get close enough? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but as we are actually throwing down a Nexus, interesting. Nexus gets thrown down. This is a very late expansion for ReBellioN, so I'm a little bit surprised he did throw it down. Immortal's already out. Prism is on the way. And ReBellioN should be pushing. He will soon be moving out. Likewise, Classic is trying to keep up. Trying to figure out whether or not it is an all-in. Oh, the armies, they do miss each other. Yeah, the Dragoons, they do rotate around. They're headed towards the natural base, and Classic will confirm there is a Nexus. And ReBellioN, he turns back around. Ooh, he's forced to turn around. Forced to recall. Army does recall back. No, the Prism goes down. The Prism falls. Nice force fields, but it may not matter. Dragoons trading against the Stalkers. I mean, these are going to be some brutal losses here for Classic, but he can afford them. As Classic, he takes down the Stalkers, takes down a Sentry as well. Not the worst trade, bearing in mind Classic has a 3rd on the way. He's on 39 probes. I mean, this is a little bit too greedy, I will say. This is wild. Like, he's kind of forcing a 1-base all-in here out of ReBellioN. And he's still expanding. Very greedy here by Classic. And again, ReBellioN, he has no saturation. He is all in, but he lost the War Prism. So the all-in is delayed. Prism now is rebuilt. He's moving out across the map. He's spotted by the army. Classic already engages. Oh my god. It's a lot of hits in. More Dragoons are warping in, of course. Shield battery is done. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. Oof. And just delaying the move outs, buying time. Reaver production has begun. The shuttle is ready. And Classic is miles ahead. Again, it did feel like ReBellioN wasn't entirely sure of what he wanted out of this game, whether he wanted to go for the all-in, whether he wanted to expand. He was a little bit middle of the road here, a little bit indecisive. And with that, now we find ourselves in this kind of position. Wow, shuttle shot goes off. Oh my god, scarab shot goes off even. Overcharge keeps Reaver alive. Barely. And again, Classic just has to buy time to build up a greater army. Another scarab shot. Shaves away the shields. Ooh, connecting on the sentry. Boys are being pulled. Classic collapsing on those immortals. Nice juggling here by ReBellioN. Does preserve his units. Oh my god. Another Reaver shot goes off. Reinforcements have arrived. Still a pretty close fight. Still quite close, but we're down to one immortal. Once again, focusing down that War Prism. Prism goes down. Can they get the immortal as well? The juggling! The micro! Classic, calm down! Oh my god. And Classic, he will be able to come out on top here. The Stalkers are so low. Oh my god, takes down both Stalkers. And now he's going for the final immortal. Oh, I say that. Second immortal has arrived. Recalls back home. ReBellioN, he survives and he at least keeps these immortals alive, but he's down to 38 workers, 63 probes for Classic. An insane economy. Could do with extra gateways, to be honest, just to sustain himself, just to be able to spend his money. As he is backing up. Oh my god. Reaver shot going off. Oh, takes down the Stalkers. No anti-air. And he wants the probes. He wants them. No, the stack. Oh my god, 6 probes go down. That was almost every single probe as well. They stacked up for that one moment. Another shot going off, getting another 2. 8 probes in total. Third base on the way for ReBellioN. Ambitious. Very ambitious with that third. Oof. 12 probe kills. He's not done. Oh my god. 14 probes in total. Reaver finally goes down. But that was merely only the first wave here, the first form of Classic. He moves out with the rest of his reinforcements. The army has arrived. He's rallying everything across the map. The shuttle, the Reaver, it's gonna get there. Eventually. Even the slow lot is faster. The slow lot's like, get out of the way. Strutting past. As the main army does collapse in, even with the overcharge, doesn't even matter. Immortal goes down. GG gets called. And Classic will take a 2-1 lead. GG. GG, well played. Classic does take a lead here. Again, a very, very intense series so far. Even this game as well, but I feel like, as I mentioned before, it does feel like ReBellioN was a little bit indecisive here. Did feel like he wasn't too certain if he wanted to all in or not. He did eventually expand, but it was a very late natural base for ReBellioN. Because of that, he invested quite heavily there into his economy that he wasn't really making use of, and his main army or his initial all-in did suffer because of it as well. And it all kind of fell apart and fell in favor of Classic. With that, GG. GG, well played. As a reminder, this is a best of 5. Classic needs one more game to confirm the win here for Classic. Meanwhile, ReBellioN has to win this game to bring it all the way to the ace match. Can he bring it back? Can he force the ace match? I'm hoping we can go the distance and we can go all the way to game 5, but the pressure is on. The pressure is on, and we're loading into ReBellioN. Let's go. Let us go. So we're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ReBellioN, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Broodwar Protoss, down in the series. He needs to fight back here and now for that game 5. It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean StarCraft 2 Protoss player for Twisted Minds. One game away from becoming this week's champion, the first Protoss champion in the history of StarCraft Evolution. It is Classic. Again, the StarCraft Evolution League has been mainly dominated by 3-point and Shin, but this week there was no Shin and there was no 3-point. 3-point, he did sign up, he did check in, but 3-point was unavailable. So in the absence of 3-point and Shin, we have Classic and ReBellioN rising up instead. have them rising up. They've made it to the finals. And we will be crowning a new champion. Again, Classic, he's so close. We do have ReBellioN opening up Nexus first. It's crazy. Basically, you saw last game with Classic going for a gate expand. ReBellioN does one better. He goes for a Nexus first. Now, Classic, similarly to the last game where ReBellioN responded with like a pseudo one-base all-in against the greed of Classic, we don't see that. Okay, Classic, I see you. I was gonna say that Classic has the option to respond with his own all-in to try to punish the greed. And again, this is as greedy as you can be in PvP. Nexus first, but Classic responds with his own Nexus. It is later than the expansion of ReBellioN, but not too much later. So Nexus first out of ReBellioN, meanwhile Gate expand out of Classic. So we are not seeing any all-ins, we're embracing a more economic start and getting into the mid-game. We will be embracing the mid-game instead. ReBellioN setting up, throwing down his 2 gates, Zelda first as well. ReBellioN does confirm with the Probe Scout that of course Classic is expanding. Ooh, Classic opening up Robo as well. It's going to be a Robo-based opener. With this, Classic is going to have early Immortal production, can also go for War Prism Harass across the map as well. Classic has some flexibility with this, at least some. The downside is that Blink is going to be delayed for Classic. Meanwhile, we'll see what direction ReBellioN goes in. For now, Dragoon production, I imagine into Dragoon range. And speaking of, just settling into his PvP. As Classic does gain map control. He's going to be moving out, he's going to be threatening a dive into the natural. It's going to be on ReBellioN to wall up and wall off. So far, so good. So let's get the shield battery in position. Nice SimCity here out of ReBellioN. He's PvP'd before. Does wall off once again. Another shield battery. Keeping up with the Adept. Again, the SimCity is a little bit more. It is quite different here, just because the shield battery is a little bit thicker, as opposed to the SC2 shield battery. So the walls are different. Meanwhile, it is going to be the War Prism first here for, the War Prism second for Classic, Immortal first. Which means we're going for a counterattack. We're setting up for some aggression here. Classic is moving out with that Prism. With it, he can reinforce. He can, of course, juggle his units. He can drop into the main, drop into a mineral line. That does shade in. Getting 1 probe. Just the 1. ReBellioN going for his own Robo. 4th Gateway as well. Building up his Dragoons. And Classic, okay, he's moving out with the War Prism to harass. He doesn't move out with his main army. He leaves everything else back at home. The War Prism is just going for the main, I imagine, for Adept harass. There it is, Adepts are on the way. Again, this is the power of a Robo opener. With this War Prism, I mean, we've seen that Adepts, they can have a hard time shading into a mineral line if the opposing player can wall off in time. But you can just bypass the wall with the War Prism, just going straight for the probes, straight for the main. Meanwhile, Stalkers move out. Classic has a shield battery. He has an overcharge. Classic is safe and sound. Adepts they get across the map. It's going to be 4 Adepts. And I'm worried. ReBellioN, he has nothing at home to defend. And again, he cannot warp in. He has to produce, like, the manual way here. The old-fashioned way, I should say. So he cannot react in time. Probes are going down. So much economic damage. 7 probe kills. 8. 8 probes go down. Adepts are saved. And Classic, he's just pulling ReBellioN apart here. Again, there's no possibility of like a reactive warp in or anything like that. He has 2 Dragoons in position. Adepts they shade into the natural. They can one-shot probes. 10, 11 probes going down. Classic just having his way with the mineral line. Now, ReBellioN has a faster third. That is true. The third base is done. So ReBellioN, he can make 3 probes at a time. But that is still 13, 14. Oh, we're still not done. We're still not done, man. Ay, ay, ay. 14 probe kills. And Classic is catching up with that third base timing. Ay, ay, ay. 14 workers going down. Adepts are still being active. Shading into the natural. Getting another 2, another 3. And this is game ending. This is just far too much damage at this stage of play. 5, 6 more probes. I'm afraid to look. It's been how many in total? 22 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. The Adepts just pulling ReBellioN apart. And Classic, he's not done. He's now moving out with his Immortals. Oh, no. He wants the pylons. He wants the pylons. He wants the production. He wants to wreak havoc even further. And again, Classic just has so much more maneuverability here. Bearing in mind, ReBellioN Dragoons, they don't have Blink. They don't have Blink, so they cannot, like, dive on the prison. They cannot jump on the army. Classic, he has time to react, to respond, to pull away. Classic has so much more freedom with this War Prism. And yeah, he's just abusing ReBellioN at this point. Going for those pylons, as we mentioned. Another Adept Warp into the main. Pylon goes down. Ooh, even a Dragoon. So he wants the Reaver. Wants the Reaver. Adepts a shade into the natural. And even if the Adepts go down, they're still trading well. Getting another 5 probes. Dropping to the low ground to the 3rd. Reaver shot's getting dodged here by the juggling as well. The counter micro. Classic avoiding the Reaver shots. Gets another 8 probes. And Classic, he's winning the game here just by harassing. Just by Adept harass and Immortal harass. I'm going to say that a lot of it is the War Prism. The Prism harass in general just has snowballed out of control. As we mentioned before, it is so much more difficult as the Brood War Protoss to defend against this if you're not in position. Specifically if you're not at home. If you're out on the map like we saw from ReBellioN, he was just pulled apart. You can't react with like an overcharge, for example, or a warp in, or a recall, because there is no recall, there is no warp in. You have to be already like having a defensive setup. You have to be ready back at home, and ReBellioN wasn't. He was not ready for this. And now here comes Classic with a massive supply lead. The super doesn't light, Nova goes off, and the Nova will connect again. There's no counter blink micro. We dive on the shuttle goes down, GG gets called, and Classic takes the series 3-1, becoming this week's StarCraft Evolution League number 4 champion. GG. GG, well played, very well done here by Classic. And honestly, in this final game, he made SC2 Protoss look busted against Brood War Protoss. As we mentioned, the maneuverability specifically provided to Classic because that War Prism was insane. Not just the maneuverability because of the units, but because of the micro as well. The player of Classic, he did just completely pull his opponent apart. It does feel like, winding it back a little bit and, you know, having a little bit of fun theorizing when it comes to SC Evolution PvP, which I haven't been able to cast much of, bear that in mind. But it does feel like, because of the power of the Prism, especially against a Robo opener, it feels like you do have to react a little bit harder to it. Either just being forced into a more defensive play with Dragoons in your bases and just being stuck at home, slowly expanding and taking a 3rd base and not being active on the map, or maybe even responding with a Stargate and going into a Corsair or into a Scout, specifically just to zone and just to threaten the War Prism. I'm not entirely sure which one would be best and which one is more viable. I'm just kind of theorizing, but it does feel like when it comes to like the meta of PvP and how it would evolve, like it does feel like a stronger response against the Prism is going to have to be required here, specifically against a Robo opener. As a reminder, Classic did open Robo that game, which is why he was able to get across the map so quickly with that War Prism. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the meta does evolve, how it does shift. Again, this is merely only the 4th edition of this tournament, and we're going to be seeing many more in the future. Oh, here we go. Once again, yeah, that's what I mean, like either a Scout or a Corsair, or just being forced to play more defensively. But again, it's one of those things where I would not be surprised if ReBellioN has not been in that position too often with this kind of dynamic in StarCraft Evolution. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Classic, as he is going to be our first StarCraft Evolution League Protoss champion. Congratulations. Up until now, it's only been Zerg champions. It's only been 3-Point and Shin. But now we add Classic. We add Classic to kind of the Hall of Fame of StarCraft Evolution. GG. Congratulations. Congratulations here to Classic. Very well done. Very well played. Again, I'm glad that it was a back and forth. I'm glad that we had a more dynamic finals, and especially game 1 and game 2. Game 1 and game 2, it was the highlight of the finals here with Paradox and with Monty Hall. Winding it back, I'm still in awe as to the response of Classic. If you missed out on game 2 was when ReBellioN was going for a 1-base all-in, and when he was trying to mine through the mineral patches to actually allow the 1-base all-in to get going, but Classic, he scattered the gas geyser, he responded with his own probe, he had his own counter probe micro, denying mining of the mineral patch, buying time for his own stalkers, and was able to completely deny the all-in. It was very impressive, very like fast thinking from Classic as well. It was really cool. Like I was very impressed. Very eye-opening. And with that, GG, well played. With that, we are going to be wrapping up for the night. If you are interested in this mod, then you can take part yourself. The mod is available in every region: Europe, Americas, and Korea. You do, unfortunately, though, have to find specific players. From my understanding, I believe there currently is no like automated ladder system or anything like that. So you'd have to ideally join the Discord. There is a StarCraft Evolution Discord server, so you can find like-minded individuals and find practice partners as well to you know, play the game, play this game mode, to embrace it, to learn it as well. Do you want to try and micro disruptors yourself, or do you want to have the power of the, I almost said the Infestor, not quite, the Defiler and the Queen as well, the spellcasters? Like we've seen like late game Guardians as well. Late game Guardians have been insane in like ZVP and ZVT that we've seen in weeks previously. Likewise, like the use of the almost said Raven, god damn it, the other one, the Science Vessel, with Irradiate. And I mean, in general, like the spellcasters and the dynamic of the game is very different in StarCraft Evolution. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's quite refreshing. Like if you enjoy SC2 and if you want like a different kind of twist to it, then it could be up your alley. Could be up your alley. So I do recommend joining the Discord server. Do recommend. And with that, GG, well played. I have not actually played it myself. I have been unable to, unfortunately, but I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted. Like I'm so fascinated by some of these matchups, and it looks like a lot of fun. Looks like a lot of fun. Looks beautiful. Beautiful. What's your MMR? I hover around 4.5k, so M2 if you're curious. I do ladder on my personal channel, so if you want to follow myself, light_VIP, I do ladder on my own personal channel. If you're interested in that sort of thing, I do stream on a semi-regular basis. Basically, I usually stream on days that I don't cast. So today I was casting, so no ladder session, no ladder stream. Tomorrow our broadcast is going to be Sparkling Tuna Cup, so we're going to be casting tomorrow as well. And the day after with the Wardy TV Monday into the Stegosaurus Cup as well. But potentially, you know, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, I'll be able to squeeze in a ladder session as well. So if you're interested, you can follow me. You can follow me here. Oh, sorry, follow me over on light_VIP if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I do appreciate it. And our next cast is tomorrow. Our next cast is going to be tomorrow. Is going to be Sparkling Tuna Cup if you're interested. And yeah, with that, we're going to be wrapping up. We're going to be wrapping up here for the time being. If you want some more StarCraft Evolution, 2 weeks. It's going to be in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks from here is the next event. It is a bi-weekly tournament. That means every fortnight we have a StarCraft Evolution League. Maybe one day we'll have it more consistent. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's always a lot of fun. Always a good time. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys next time. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Find out someone to raid. Otherwise, I'm going to go pass out. It is 4:30 in the morning. It's very early. It's well, very late, I guess, depending on how you look. It's 4:30 in the morning. It's time to go to bed and do it all again tomorrow. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.